All right, here we go. Sikkim 365 Radio, 365 Sports on YouTube. Brandon Helwig was scheduled to join us at 4:30. He covers UCF, the Knights, in fact, is the publisher for that. And he joins us a little bit earlier. Sam Kahn, theathletic.com, will join us a little bit later on, as will Jeff Howe, who covers Texas as they open up against the University of Louisiana. Brandon, man, things seem to be moving very quickly with the Big 12. I've been able to have sources tell me UCF, Houston, Brigham Young, and who am I missing, guys? Cincinnati. Your thoughts, what is kind of the reaction? There still hasn't been the official announcement. What's the reaction right now on campus in the athletic department?
Yeah, this really been a whirlwind. I mean, we all kind of had an idea that, something was going to happen, sooner than later regarding the Big 12. And I know talking with UCF people, they were pretty confident they would be included in such a scenario. I think some things kind of had to fall in line first. Like, we had to, I know Big 12 had to see, is the Pac-12 going to expand? Is there potential for a Big 10 landing spot? And when those things didn't happen, it seems like everything kind of accelerated quite a bit. Everyone's kind of confirmed the news. It's not really breaking anymore. You just said it. Those four schools are going to be joining. From what I was able to gather today by talking with my UCF sources, it's going to happen, next week. I mean, I guess there's a process involved with you got to put in an official bid to be invited, and all those wheels are in motion. That'll be in the middle of next week, and I guess by the end of next week, I think everything will be, finalized and approved by the Big 12 presidents by Friday. So, yeah, it's happened really, 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 really quickly. It's just everything I'm hearing right now is UCF and at least the other American schools were joined in 2023. Obviously, there's a little bit of a question mark about, as everyone knows, Texas and Oklahoma. When are they actually going to leave? What's the status there? But, yeah, this process, from what I understand today, it's been ongoing, at least with the American schools, for the last couple of weeks, because, I've even heard, they've talked about, revenue numbers in terms of, because when those schools would come in, if they come in for 2023, that would be the two final years of the existing Big 12 media rights deal. And they've already given school specific numbers. Obviously they wouldn't come in and make a full share right away, but they've already discussed that. I know the American schools have already started the process with the American in terms of a buyout and a withdrawal, and kind of that process has already started. So while we just kind of learned about it, in essence, yesterday morning, I think some of the schools involved maybe have kind of known with a wink and a nod that, yeah, this may be happening pretty soon.
What does it mean for UCF as a university, as a fan base, that this did come about when clearly for the last decade or so they've been making moves to try to make this happen, even though 10 years ago it may not have seemed like it was possible?
Yeah, I think there's going to be excitement. Obviously, there's still some questions just because, Power 5 status going forward, what will future media rights deal be? Is there a concern that some people are referring to now as the Power 4, could they essentially maybe squeeze out, the Big 12 if they didn't see them as a peer conference anymore? But, once we, assuming everything remains status quo and Big 12 remains in an Autonomy 5 league, which I believe it will, I know, everyone around UCF will be excited. I think, we need to see maybe more playoff access, which I know apparently will not happen as quickly as we thought it might have at some point with the pause being put there. But, for schools in the American, they're going to go from making, $6-7 million annually, in the American to, we'll see what it ends up being, beyond 2025, but just kind of taking that next step forward, which, really the big discussion point really amongst UCF is it's really the dynamic with UCF's main rival, South Florida, because this was an issue that I don't know how many of you listeners are aware, but, UCF started their football program in 1979. They played at lower levels, Division III, eventually 1AA and elevated to 1A FBS in 1996. And South Florida never had a football program all the years, and they basically just started in 1997, I believe was their first year. And just with the way everything happened in the early 2000s and that stage of realignment, they were able to join the Big East. And that upset a lot of people around UCF, and they, at the time, to their credit, USF had the more, all-around structured athletic program and all the other sports. But USF for years fought to keep UCF out of the Big East. And, it's not just me saying that. You see Brett McMurphy saying that, Andy Staples. They've kind of alluded to that today, too. So there's kind of, at least amongst fans, there's kind of some sort of, satisfaction or some gloating amongst rivals that UCF got the call up and USF did not.
Well, Brandon, last night, the season debut, I mean, it could have been a sort of good and sort of bad 24 hours the way that game with Boise State started off, but to UCF's credit, they came charging back under Gus Malzahn. Your thoughts on the season kicking off last night?
Yeah, I mean, that was just wild. I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but the game was supposed to start off at 7 p.m., and we had nearly a 3-hour lightning delay, and there was a concern for a while whether the game would even get played. As we see, it's Florida. You never know what's going to happen. Right. It didn't rain all day, and then these storms just kind of pop up out of nowhere with lightning, so it did not get off to a good start. UCF looked like they were rolling pretty early, looked like they were about to go up and score, and quarterback Dylan Gabriel threw basically a 100-yard pick six the other way, and Boise went up by 3 scores. I think it was 20. It was not a good start, suffice to say. But UCF didn't panic. It could have got out of hand, but they were able to rebound and get a couple touchdowns before half. I think it was 24-14 at halftime, and pretty much dominated the third quarter. I think they held Boise State to negative something, and it was negative 11 yards in the third quarter as they kind of mounted their comeback. But, it was a great atmosphere just for the first time to kind of have a full stadium, and majority of the fans stuck around, which was remarkable. It was a school night. The game didn't get over until after 1 o'clock. And, it was a great atmosphere for everything going on in our world. And just to see the comeback, and just was really a fantastic game. One of the most memorable games that I know UCF fans will remember for years to come.
I think the halftime speech was, guys, we're hearing that whoever wins this game is invited to the Big 12. And perhaps that kick-started, I'm joking, of course, UCF. And we have Jeremiah Dickey, the AD at Boise State, was at Baylor most recently under Mack Rhodes. And obviously I was starting about the time I went to bed. I said, I'm going to reach out. That'd be a great win for Boise, of course, and have him, if we could, on the show today. But UCF came back and pulled it out. So in the end, it's kind of hair on fire right now, right, Brandon, how things have flipped so quickly.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And let me say something real quick about Boise. I was really impressed for coming all the way from Idaho to Florida. They had a fantastic traveling base that came all the way down here for the game. I mean, really, some of the most fans I've seen at a UCF game in a long time from an opposing fan base. At least a fan base that's not from in-state. So kudos to them. I know they have a great fan base. They would have been a worthy addition to the Big 12 as well. I guess the only word to focus on for. But yeah, it's just a lot of stuff going on right now. Obviously, it was a great debut for Gus Malzahn, and we're going to be hearing about this Big 12 stuff coming up. And I know UCF's got a lot of facilities plans that they unveiled a couple of weeks ago, and I know that'll be full steam ahead here the next couple of years. They want to build new football facilities, new basketball facilities, and all that. So yeah, a lot of exciting things coming down the pike here for UCF.
Thank you very much, Brandon. Craig, anything else? Brandon Hellwig, he covers UCF, has been with us before, and you can almost hear in his voice,